First of all, I've got to start by saying a massive thank you to loads of people who left really nice comments after last night's video. I mentioned in it that my dog, Baggins, was not well. He's an old boy. Yeah, you know how these things go, right? He's 11, nearly 12 now. He's my children's best mate, the dog is. I've got two dogs, brother and sister. There's Baggins and there's Bubbles. Baggins not well. Thank you for all the messages. I haven't had a chance to reply to all of them. I absolutely will do. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to be doing constant updates on it, but you get the gist. I really, really appreciate it. Apologies for the coat. Well, no, actually, no apologies for the coat. Jokes were made about the coat, it has to be said, in the build-up show. So I do believe it's these are the coats of victory, and I think there's probably some kind of like whatever the opposite of a gypsy curse is. I think there's some sort of benefit to the coat, really, which gives West Ham victories. So the coat, it's got to be called the coat of victory. Now, whilst the coat did have a lot to do with West Ham winning, David Moyes had a little bit to do with it as well, it has to be said. And what I want to do is I want to separate these two halves of football that we saw last night. But I want to try and be as sort of respectful to David Moyes as I can be, because there's a difference between liking something and not liking something, and whether you might not like something, but it still might be effective. I didn't like what I saw in the first half, but it was effective. I did like what I saw in the second half, and what I saw in the second half, I think, has to provide some form of blueprint for how I want us to play for the remainder of the season, because we don't always play like that. Look, in the second half, we were still defensive, but we were on the front foot. There's a lot of contradictions here. We were on the front foot, but defensive. We didn't have a load of flair, but I felt very much like the intensity and the purpose with which we attacked gave us real impetus. And whilst we didn't have lots of tippy-tappy football, I do feel that by pressing hard and by defending from the front, we gave Tottenham all sorts of problems which we just didn't offer them in the first half. I think in the first half we invited them upon us. Now this is where I want to get the first half out of the way and really discuss what David Moyes did. I might not like it, but it did work. What's been happening with Tottenham is all season they've been carving their way through opponents with this Ange Postecoglou brand of football, which has been heralded, all through football. I was going to say mainly on Sky Sports. Everyone's doing it. Talk Sport, whoever else, BT Sport. The Ange Postecoglou brand of football is something to be praised and to be lauded, and everyone speaks really highly of it. But part of it is that they just cut ribbons through opposition from open play. Well, you know what? We managed to thwart them yesterday to such an extent that Tottenham's goal basically came from a header from a wide position. It's as simple as that, really. That's just what happened with the goal. Romero basically their centre-back out-jumped our centre-back. That's pretty much how the goal came. But in terms of the swashbuckling, cutthroat football, it didn't really occur. Look, they had their chances, don't get me wrong. Porro had a half-decent chance. Fabianski played well, and he did, but it's not like he had 20 saves to make. So I think you could make the case in the first half that we got to half-time only one goal down. Now, it may well be that actually at the end of that game, David Moyes might turn around and say that game went exactly as I intended it. I wanted to defend really deep. I wanted to defend in that fashion for the first half, and then I wanted to nab them and get them later on in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So I think David Moyes got it absolutely right. I just think what happened in the first half invites an unnecessary amount of pressure upon us. The pressing from the front in the second half was absolutely amazing. And what I think it does is it completely changes not only the context of the game, but the way in which some players are going to be able to operate. James Ward-Prowse would be a perfect example. I don't want to see the James Ward-Prowse in the first half, but I'm very interested in seeing the James Ward-Prowse that we saw in the second half. And that was because the tactics and the press put him on the front foot. Look, we did try and press in the first half. We really did. But not everybody was doing it and not everybody was up for it. And I don't feel that the whole team had the licence to do it. In the second half, I felt everybody from the fullbacks onwards was doing it and was all being led by Jarrod Bowen, who by this point had stopped playing on the right and he was playing through the middle. I suspected Jarrod Bowen, and a lot of us, not just me, a lot of us suspected Jarrod Bowen might do okay when he wasn't playing against a team that was parking the bus. And Tottenham don't do that. So I thought he was always going to do a little bit better against Tottenham than he would do against Crystal Palace. I don't say that in hindsight. I said it before both games. But him leading the line in terms of the press was really, really important because everyone else had licence to go. Lucas Paquetá was like a different player. An entirely different player. He didn't even look motivated. Never mind about tactically. In the first half, he didn't even look motivated. Now, I am willing to concede that West Ham have had a fixture congestion far higher and far more intense than most teams we play. Certainly, we played a lot more games than Fulham have. And as you know, I mentioned it in previous videos, I do sort of disagree with what David Moyes says about being good in the first half of games. Recently, I'll say the games again just quickly. Nottingham Forest, Burnley, Bakatopola, I think been crap in the first half. I am willing to give the excuses and give the mitigation for that is that we're playing so many games that actually West Ham's warm-up is not at the start when we're running around doing the stretches and running up and down as the fans are starting to fill into the stadium. West Ham's warm-up is the first half. And I just think it possibly might be because we're so knackered from these other games that we're playing midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend. It eventually takes its toll, and it's going to take its toll when you don't rotate very much. And he doesn't. We saw against Crystal Palace, 81, one substitute, 87th minute, Pablo Fornals. Same against Tottenham, 87th minute, one substitute, Pablo Fornals. Got no criticism of what happened against Tottenham, by the way. I am not here. I can be very critical of David Moyes, not on this occasion. I didn't like what I saw in the first half, but my word, it worked. And then you look at the league table now, and it's very much, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, it's almost separating into two, isn't it? And West Ham are on the right side of that. Now, look, the thing is, for us to do better than we are, which is, look, if we carried on as we are, I'm pretty sure we'd be 9th or something, right, this season, and quite comfortably. But if we wanted to incrementally get a little bit better and sort of offset the little downwards trajectory we're clearly going to have in the African Cup of Nations when we lose Kudus, who's just such a tremendous player, then we're probably going to need to do something different. And I think David Moyes has probably provided the blueprint as to what we should do. And that is for us to press and to press from the front. And before I finish off making my point, I almost forgot. Look, we've got the 8 days of Hammers Chat Christmas at the moment. Use the link below. Goes to hammerschatstore.com. Today's special offer is 20% off of books. You don't even need to put the discount code in. It's all done for you. We've got a lot of really, really good books on the Hammers Chat store. So if you're not sure what to buy people for Christmas and you're looking for that West Ham fan, you're looking for a gift, and you've decided what you want to do is get them a West Ham book, I don't know this for a fact, I think we, and when I say we, Hammers Chat store, got the best selection of West Ham books anyway. I don't know if we've got a better selection of Waterstones. I wouldn't be surprised if we do, actually. If you want a book for a West Ham fan, go and check that out. Today's the day to buy them. These offers run for 24 hours only. Tomorrow will be a completely different offer. Go and check that out. So if what we want to do is improve and just move up a notch for the remainder of the season, let's do this pressing from the front. Let's do it. It looks good. And the thing is, even when you're not producing any great pieces of skill, then what it's still allowing you to do is put the opposition under pressure. No longer were Tottenham able to really play through the press as much as they were able to do in the first half. We pressed a bit in the first half, but not because not everybody did it. Tottenham were just able to pass to the areas of the pitch where the press wasn't happening, and then they'd sort of basically it was quite easy to pass their way through our pressing. Second half, no way. It was a hassle. Basically, West Ham were a pain in the arse, and that's what I don't mind. I don't mind us being defensive if we're also a pain in the arse. You can clearly see. You don't learn this on the UEFA coaching licence. I think if you're going to be defensive, then be dogged, be difficult to beat as well. Then you have to do the whole lot, all right? Be an annoyance. Because I didn't feel when we were defending the first half. Yes, were we defending? Yes. Were we a pain in the arse? No, not really. No. They were able to do pretty much what they wanted. They could proceed pretty much to the 18-yard box without encountering too much opposition, without encountering too much difficulty. I felt in the second half it was a pain in the arse for Tottenham even to get out from their goalkeeper. I thought we made it really, really difficult for them. So why not? Why not do that? Maybe energy is a part of it. Maybe that's the reasoning. If that's the case, and we are only able to play with that intensity for 45 minutes, then maybe we should be rotating a little bit more. But anyway, quite the opposite was my intention to come onto this video and criticise David Moyes. I think he got it right last night. I really did. But in the same way that I thought there was an opportunity to beat Crystal Palace, which he didn't grab the ball by the horns, grasp the nettle, whatever. He didn't tickle the ball with the ball's horns with the nettle, to get my metaphors mixed up. I thought he let Palace off with one, and I was critical of him then. I thought he got it really spot on. I didn't like the first half, but if that was he doing, I was going to keep it tight and stop him from opening us up from open play. He did that. He really did that. I don't even particularly blame him for the tactics for the goal, because actually Romero was marked by 2 players. The zonal marking, it worked, right? It works. Basically, at that point, the tactics were fine. It just became like an individual battle, whereas basically Romero was able to jump higher than a Gerd or Alvarez. Basically, he won that individual battle. So I think actually tactically probably nullified them, but it was just something exciting, something thrilling. I think about the way we played in the second half, even though it still was defensive, it still was attritional. There was just a lot more to be admired about it. Anyway, right, I'm gonna go. Me and my coat are gonna go now. Once again, thank you so much for the lovely messages. Yeah, I'll catch up with you tomorrow.